All right, New Age Tactical back with another video.
Post review.
I don't know what I was gonna say.
New Age
Same as always, 2 weeks or more spent with every knife. And this is a weird one. I'll explain later. But start off, got the Buck Trekker, okay? Still a solid ass knife. We have to keep in mind, this did the sisal rope in one swipe. That is the one, like this knocked every test out of the park. And it's ugly. Bottom line, this is a preference. It got the stamp, but it's f***ing hideous in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Why did I get the Buck? Oh, that was the one that Bandy gave.
Bandy gave us. He barely took it out of the package, didn't like the way it felt, and gave it to us.
And unfortunately, I don't know if we would have even given like this time of day if we didn't get it for free. And it wound up being pretty mind blowing.
Moving on to the Badlands Vagabond from Civivi. Solid ass knife again. Did not succeed in all the tests, but the look of it is great. The feel of it is solid. The opening still, after all this time, perfect. But not the best in my opinion. I still feel like there are some knives that are better, and being that it didn't get the stamp, I don't know. It's a great knife though. I'm not against it. And then finally you come to the Elementum. I am in love with this knife. I think this knife is fantastic, but it did not get the stamp from us. Now, just to go a little bit further in depth on this, the Micarta handle. I just love a Micarta handle just because now I'm starting to realize, just after a few weeks of carrying, it already started developing like its own patina. Basically every blade is going to have like its own fingerprint because they're all going to wear and tear differently. And I just like that. It made it more personal to me, on top of just being a sharp ass blade. I mean, after all the abuse we put it through, and that freaking flipper is still going, no problem. Will Hernandez brought up the possibility of, what about an EDC stamp?
Yeah, I read that.
I really like the idea of, like, we have the New Age Tactical stamp for something that survives the torture test. But for something in this case where I feel so confidently about a knife, even though it didn't pass, that's an EDC knife.
I think in order to get an EDC stamp, it's going to have to pass certain parts of the torture test. Like opening up a can. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of that unfortunately you might have to do.
In the case of the Elementum, it was the sisal.
Yeah.
The sisal rope in both occasions, just chopping it and swiping it.
Yeah.
It failed horribly, but otherwise it did fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, and it gave during batoning. But that is a liner lock giving during batoning, which we have said before, it's pretty damn common. I mean, you're beating the handle from a specific angle. It happens.
As far as the Civivis, I like both of them. They're both pretty good EDC knives. I mean, they're both great EDC knives. I do like this one better. I don't know. I think maybe because we've done so many black or gunmetal blades that silver blade is just something that, like, you know.
The reason I said this is a weird one is, for the first time ever, the one with the stamp is my least liked knife out of the three. But that's crazy.
You know what, though? That was their $20 or $19 buck knife. That made it through the torture test. Now, I'm sure if we go out, and I've done a little research on higher quality, like, you know, materials and stuff like that, they get up there in price, which is actually why I haven't bought another one yet, because, I don't know, I kind of feel like our niche has been, like, budget blades, and, you know, we're eventually getting into, like, the bigger dog ones, but, you know, that's further down the line. So you can't, like, this got the stamp because it's a quality-ass knife. We can't rule that one out for anything. You know what I mean? That's going to do every job you need it to do, and it's a decent EDC knife. These two guys are much more, like, aesthetically pleasing.
True.
Functionally a little more pleasing because just better grips. I mean, like, this looks like a toy for the most part when these, like, even this one kind of has a cheap feel. I don't like that. This handle it's made out of, or I forget what it was, but it's very plasticky, very like cheap flooring is kind of what it feels like. You know, and then that was our first step into Civivi, but it was still a good knife. And then got to this guy, and I don't know, it just got a different feel, look, everything to it. You know, the metal behind the micarta, you know.
It feels adult. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like...
This looks like you spent $250 on a knife. That's what this looks like to me. When this one looks like you bought it at a dollar store, this one looks like, I don't know.
You bought it at a gas station because it's got the badass
look.
or
it came free in a survival kit type look, you know. When this one looks like you went to a store, when this was all polished and brand new, and that's kind of how I feel about that. And I definitely like that one the best. If I was going to pick one to throw in my pocket, it'd be the Elementum.
So what do you say? Do we do a solid by Mr. Hernandez and make an EDC stamp?
Problem is, I think all three should get the EDC stamp.
Ooh. Well, no. We already know. This guy got the New Age Tactical stamp.
So it gets the EDC.
It does.
That's like bronze and gold medal.
Yeah.
Or silver and gold.
You automatically get the other one. But... in the sense of, like, if we had to choose between the two, it's like a no-brainer. This one really did.
This isn't just a this is a 3-knife post review, but this isn't the EDC is not a stamp, is not which one of these gets the EDC stamp.
I kind of feel like essentially this EDC stamp is basically just a stamp for things we actually just like.
Yeah, but I like all three of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed carrying the Vagabond, and this was a really hot knife. But until I carried this,
okay, but see,
I was like, oh.
But if we were going back to the test and we were testing this, it would have got that EDC stamp. Before we saw this.
All right.
Before we see that guy out of the picture.
Fine. All right. So, damn, are we going to go across the board right now and just...
But see,
Matt stamp, EDC.
That's where the EDC stamp's going to get a little tricky. We're going to have to iron out some details. I mean, as of right now, this thing is a workhorse. And I'm sorry. This is a good EDC knife.
The sizzle was just impressive.
It's ugly.
That was replay.
I mean, it's ugly. It looks like a kid's knife. But that right there, I would love to have in my bag if I got in a up situation and I needed a knife, and I only could pick a folding knife. I'm gonna step up. That one steps up.
Yeah, it's the only one in the group that has serrated blade too. You know, like that's.
As far as the other two, I'd rather carry the other two. I think if this was a different color handle, honestly, I kind of feel like if we took a little sandpaper to this, made it a little rougher, this would be phenomenal.
So for right now, we'll leave it at this got the stamp, these did not. But for the first time ever, we are looking at 3 solid knives across the board. We're gonna think deeper into the EDC stamp.
There's no fail in this category.
For me personally,
pretty much
no.
Every post review we've had, we had at least one fail.
We normally complain a lot during a post review.
Yeah, this is actually wrapping up a lot quicker than I thought it would. But
this is also across the board with price. You've got 18, 40, 50.
Yeah.
You know, like, so, regardless of what your choice is, you will be happy with your purchase.
And that's another thing that you got to think about with the EDC. The EDC stamp is this was $50.
It was the most expensive.
So I mean, you pay for what you got.
I was just excited for this one for the first time because this is such a rarity for us. This is the first time.
Yeah. That buck knife is a fucking solid knife, man. And you know,
I even in the
and
video,
I'm sure there's guys out there that are like, that's the best color combo ever. Hey man, there's an ass for every seat. You know what I mean? But,
okay, we'll have to think about it more. But thank you, Will, for that suggestion, man.
Nah, you definitely threw something in there for us to think about, and we've kind of been thinking about a lot of different ways to rate the knives because we've done so many, and stamp or pass or fail, and all the bullshit comments we get about it's a slicer, not a chopper. No, that's the point. We do this to just beat the out of a knife and see if it makes it through. And I'm pretty sure when they made this knife or this knife, they didn't think it was going to be chiseling wood either, but they made it. That's the point. You know what I mean? Is see what are the stronger ones. So we kind of want to categorize a little bit more. And that's actually a really cool category is the EDC factor in it because that's pretty much what we're reviewing them for. You know, your EDC and your survival or your hiking bag. So, guys, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram.
Hit the bell.
notification bell. Links to all three should be down in the description. Other than that, New Age Tactical.
Over and out.